Hi, I'm Tim Roble, and welcome to Adventure Athletes Expedition Build Day 23. Didn't get much done yesterday as I met with a client for most of the day and talked about a new build for him. Um, basically, where I'm at is I built on the end of Build Day 21, which would be Monday. Um, I built out some of this furniture. I got the floor actually screwed down. I kind of went against my plan of utilizing the Herculator to hold it down, and I went with the liquid nails subflooring. And why that ended up happening is I put in these fender wells, so all that's framed out and welded in, and I had to notch the floor panel to get it in. And in doing so, once I got everything wiggled down and into place, it was very tough to get back out again. So I just kind of lifted everything up. I shot liquid nails. It was easier to get around with everything. I'm sure that's going to be totally fine. And I got all of that put into place. The bottom is all painted out now, and everything kind of looks good. So I framed up this furniture, and just to kind of get stuff in place. This may or may not be utilized, parts of it. But what that was doing is it was setting up what my shape of the vehicle is going to be. Basically, from the floor, I'm going to come up now 53 inches, and then I'm going to transition up to the roof. The roof panel is framed out as a 4x8. I'm going to try to keep that. I'm going to see, I'm going to tack everything together and see what everything looks like. Why I want to stay 4x8 is because my solar panels are 48 inches wide. So I can put the solar panels on basically going across the 4-foot section. I have 3 of those for 300 watts and got that all set up. I've learned that the refrigerator I wanted to run furthest forward. It just does not make sense for packaging that way. I kind of suspected that anyway. You can kind of see we have this body line coming in. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a tube from this spot right here. And this tube is 51 tall, but it's a mock-up tube. But I'm going to come up 53. And then that will transition up to the top. So after the video, I'll work on getting the top actually installed where it needs to go. We're probably within a ½ inch right now just for visual reference, but I'll get that top squared up, set where it needs to go, and then start putting in these runners to tie everything in. Why I wanted to frame everything out is because I wanted to get the right profile and where everything needed to go with my aisleway and everything. What I was trying not to do was I didn't want to have to modify this futon. I'm a metal fabricator, wood fabricator, carpenter, whatever you want to call it. I'm not a seamstress. I'm not someone that deals with furniture. But yeah, there is a few things that's going to have to be modified on this to get it to work. I'll have to take some corners off up front. Physically, where we're at right here, this lays down and makes into a pretty nice sized bed for my wife. I may end up shortening some things and really physically getting this in there because this is a rather large object to have in. I set it up where I bought some seat sliders, and I was going to set it up so it would travel about a foot. But to get this to work and everything to work, well, you can see where everything's at. So I don't know. Like I say, as a fabricator, what you are is you're solving problems as you come across problems every day. And that's why I'm not rushing this build, but I am very adamant about getting through it. You run out of money, so it's time to go back to work. And, I still have commitment with taking care of my dad. And I would like to get this done sometime I'd like to see it done by my birthday in June 4th, but we will see. It is what it is. And when I say done, I mean the outside sheeted and the door so it locks, and I'll have my little covers made for my shock tower, so everything's enclosed. And then you can start working on building out the inside, kind of like what people would do on the start of a van build. They don't have to build a physical chassis and everything. So a lot of this lower work has turned out great. I'm glad that I took the time to do all of that correct and change all the shock angles. And I think the extra added suspension is going to be something that's going to be really neat. I got the inside taken care of. I got the big girl sunk down in the floor. It's AGM, so it doesn't have to be level. I would have preferred it to be level, but it is what it is. It's as low as I can get it, and this is a big battery. So I bought more subflooring material that's going to come out, and then it'll have a slide opening, and then it'll probably continue on and make that work. If I can put something in this area, that may be a good way to go, and then access everything from the driver's side or through the center. It's as low and the furthest to the door I can do it. Physically, the refrigerator is going to have to move. It's going to move over. Probably the end of the refrigerator will be in this area. So I'll do sink, refrigerator, then countertop with a little that single burner stove that's butane and propane. And then outside here, I'll have my Coleman barbecue that's got the barbecue and the stove grill on it. That'll work out real well. The height of the futon is perfect. We're 16.5 inches up, and that's so I have the clearance for the porta potty to stow underneath it. And you can kind of see I'm going to end up with a lot of storage space. If you remember from my original talks, I don't want to put any cabinets up top. I want to keep all the weight down low. Everything we carry is going to be down pretty much on the floor. Keeping our center of gravity as low as possible for this tall thing. Right now I am committed to the 6'3" height. I'm going to go ahead and frame everything up, tack everything in, and then I'll build out the front. And I think once the front gets built out, we're going to lose, we're going to go basically from right here, and then that's going to drop down, and we're going to come out like my 81 inch is somewhere right here about where my finger is. So we're going to come off of this roof line, and then that'll start transitioning up, and then it'll have a longer swoop and then back in. So I think what that's going to do is it's going to fool the eye into thinking that it's actually longer and sleeker. The longer you go, it doesn't look so boxy and square. We'll see. I gotta tell you, if I can pull this off aesthetically, I know I can do it packaging now, but pulling it off aesthetically and making it look nice, if I can do that, that's probably going to be one of my bigger feats I've accomplished in my fabrication career. I've built several tube cars, and when you start with a clean sheet of paper and you just need to make it work, and you design the suspension, and you got a motor and transmission and transfer case, and design a vehicle all around all these components. It's kind of how I work. I laid all of this stuff out on paper, and what happened with that is hey, on paper it's 2D, so I took it to CAD, built it in 3D, but you just don't get the dimensions and actually the curve of the truck and everything. I'm sure if I took time to do that, that's kind of not my forte. I can do CAD and do CAM, and I program on the CNC, but I work with pieces in place, and I think once you put pieces in place, you get a good visual representation of like, okay, the wheels have to go here. So I'm about 1.5 inches back from where it needed it, where I had it tacked in. So I'm going to work on spare mounts today, get that all in. I'll get all this furniture off. I'll start working on our first transitions and getting the top squared up and where everything needs to be, and kind of build out from there. Today's Thursday, so I have Thursday and Friday to work on this. Saturday, Sunday, balance in life. I'll spend that time with my wife, and then Monday I'm back out to my dad's for a week. So we'll have I'll probably do a couple videos out there. He's got a wonderful cactus garden that I'm into cactus. If anybody follows me, I'm Tim Rubble on Instagram. You can see that I anytime I'm out in the desert and find, especially in the springtime, cactus with blooming flowers. Love it. And that's what this rig's for, is to take me out more into a deep area, and I can use this as a central hub or an arc to unload motorcycles and bicycles and backpacks and go out and explore and do that. And I'm super passionate about that. Would it have been easier for me to build out a four-wheel drive Sprinter? Yes. Will the four-wheel drive Sprinter take me to the places that I really want to go? Probably not. For $62,000, once again, I think I could build a better package than that stock, and that's the direction I'm heading, and why I'm doing this. Anyway, I appreciate all of the positive comments and the thumbs up. I'm sure I got a thumbs down coming sometime soon, but so far through this whole build series, I cannot believe I've got all thumbs up. So thank you guys so much for watching and putting up with my long-windedness. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for keeping me going, and the motivating great comments that I've gotten from the community and your concerns. Take some of the concerns. You know, I don't always get it right on the first time, so I get people that say, hey, you know, how about putting in a fuel door so you can access the fuel pump from the flooring? You know, Randy Duke, thank you so much for mentioning that. Unfortunately for me, the fuel pump is a little bit forward underneath the cab, so I still have to drop the tank to get to the fuel pump. So, but it's comments like that that makes us better as a community, and makes our builds all come out a little bit better. So thank you so much for watching. I'm Tim Roble, and I'll catch you here next time.